Hello, I'm Officer Jolynn Lopez, Public Information Officer for the Mesquite Police Department. This critical incident community briefing is intended to provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred on the evening of January 31st, 2022. You are about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case, so you can have a better understanding of what occurred, based on what we know right now. The Mesquite Police Department conducts very thorough use of force investigations, which typically require investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. We are still at the early stages of this investigation, and our understanding of the incident may change as this additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. We also do not draw any conclusions about whether the officer acted consistently with our policies and the law until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution: the images and information you are about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers. On January 31st, 2022, at 8:34 p.m., an officer from the Mesquite Police Department was on routine patrol in an apartment complex in the 800 block of Highway 30 in Mesquite. During the previous shift, that same officer received information from a license plate scan notification that inside the complex was a vehicle belonging to a subject who showed an outstanding warrant. The officer was following up on that license plate scan in an attempt to locate the vehicle in question. The officer located the vehicle and found that it was occupied. The officer was in full police uniform and operating a marked Mesquite Police Patrol vehicle as he exited his vehicle to approach, at which time the occupant fled on foot. The officer pursues the subject as he enters a breezeway in the apartments.
I got one running Mission Fairways apartment complex, white male wearing a black.
As the officer rounds the corner, he observes that the fleeing suspect has now stopped running, has turned and produced a firearm, and was in a shooter's stance, pointing the firearm at the pursuing officer. The suspect fires multiple rounds toward the officer, who returned fire as he quickly moves to cover while ensuring that the suspect did not escape from the rear of the building. The officer was not struck by gunfire. The suspect was struck at least 2 times. Now we will view the video from both angles uncut.
White male wearing
Shots fired, all units 38 feet. 58, copy.
Where are they at?
I got one running Mission Fairways apartment complex, white male wearing a black. 411, shots fired, shots fired.
The suspect was later identified as Joseph Butler, a 40-year-old male from Wichita Falls, Texas. Butler showed to have several active felony warrants out of another agency, as well as a parole violation warrant. Mesquite police officers attempted CPR and other life-saving measures. A Mesquite Fire Department ambulance was dispatched to the scene and departed with Mr. Butler for Baylor Hospital in Dallas at 8:45, where he was later pronounced deceased at 9:30. This tragic incident from the time that Mr. Butler was contacted and fled until the time the Mesquite police officer was fired upon by Mr. Butler was 8 seconds. Investigators recovered a firearm from the scene, identified as a CZ 9mm pistol and 7 shell casings from rounds fired by Butler. Investigators also located a vehicle in the parking lot that had been struck twice by gunfire from the suspect. The officer is a 3-year veteran of the Mesquite Police Department and was carrying a Glock 17 9mm pistol and fired 6 rounds. The Mesquite Police will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. We will continue interviewing witnesses that may come forward and complete any forensic tests. After the investigation is complete, the investigation will be referred to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office for review. The Internal Affairs Unit will also conduct an investigation and evaluate the evidence to determine whether the officer's actions and use of deadly force in this instance followed department policy and procedures. Thank you for taking the time to view this critical incident community briefing.